Peace and blessings, y'all. My name is Jordan Xavier. I am the host of a Peaceful Moment podcast. I am a podcaster. I'm a mental health advocate. I am a writer. I'm about to publish my first book in a few months. So hopefully, that's gonna go well. So can't wait for y'all to be a part of that journey with me. But I'm an all-around positive person, and I am also a person that struggles with mental health. And that's why I have dedicated the rest of my life to tackling that issue with y'all, you know? Yes. So that's a very tough question for me to answer, because I never wanted to define myself by what I do. I always tried to define myself by who I am. So what I do a lot. I am a person who does not like to do one thing. You know, like, what are they called? The neurodivergent people? Yes, I'm one of those. My brain is on 100 at all times of the day. So I am a singer. I'm a writer. I'm a podcast host. I'm a podcast producer. I do a lot. I have my hands on a lot of things, but more so, above all things, I'm a storyteller. And being a storyteller, I understand that me telling my stories, getting other people to share their stories is important. It allows other people to empathize. It allows other people to sympathize. And it keeps us alive a little bit. It reminds us that we all are human and that we all share our stories. Then we don't have to be afraid of tomorrow, because we already know that somebody somewhere has already tackled something that we are facing tomorrow. So hopefully that makes sense. Podcasting is a very new word for what I've been doing for a long time. Witnessing to people, telling people about the greatness of life, that there are options outside of drugs and alcohol. There are options to life that exceeds another person in your life. If some of y'all don't know, when I was in middle school, I used to have a recorder on me at all times. I used to have my iPod on me, and I used to have a little voice recorder. And I was just talking to it all day. And I would just listen to myself talk all day. Like narcissism vibes, you know? Who don't love to hear themselves talk? Some people just don't like hearing their voice, but I love hearing my own voice. I was very insecure as a child because my voice was never, deep. It wasn't full. It was very, very whispery. It was very high pitched. Hearing my own voice and having confidence in that really helped me as I was growing up. And I learned that if I just keep on talking, somehow, some way it's gonna make sense. Some of y'all may know that when I was working at AMC Sunrise 8 as a supervisor, my first podcast was my Snapchat stories. And everybody was in love with my Snapchat stories. And I thought to myself, how could I spread a good message to people, keep them engaged, and keep them laughing? Tell my crazy ass stories, and at the same time, give them a little life lesson in between every single story. So while I'm talking about people who used to cuss me about popcorn, I was also teaching people about mental health. And as I was teaching people about me getting written up because I burnt a customer pizza, and I told the lady, fuck you, at the same time, I was teaching people how to control their anger and control themselves. So podcasting is just a very new word for what I've been doing for a long time. The first time I knew that podcasting was for me was when I recorded my very first episode. I was nervous. We did it over Zoom. The quality was awful. It sounded like two people talking between two microwaves with a bag of popcorn in the middle. It was not good. Baby, it was hell. It was not, the video quality was awful. Audio quality was terrible. Nothing was good about the episode except the content we were talking about. We spoke about loving ourselves and dealing with situationships. We spoke about how to heal yourself after a very difficult situation. And from that point on, I knew that I had a special ability to get very powerful information out of people who didn't think they were powerful speakers. So somehow, some way, I have the ability to draw passion out of people, and that is so much more than me just being able to bring passion out of myself. So, very first episode of A Peaceful Moment was when I was like, yeah, we getting out of the hood with this. What do I love the most? I love the chaos. I love the absolute chaos. I love the twists and the turns. I love how I meet my guests. I love how I learn about my guests and them telling their stories. I love the things that happen during the podcast that y'all don't get to see. I love the raccoons running up on us. I love when I spill my hot tea on my lap during a recording. I love that every episode has nothing to do with the last episode. It's the chaos. The chaos is what brings the passion out of me. Just to know that whatever I plan to happen here is not gonna happen makes me so much more excited for the next how many of years I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If this thing was predictable, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. But because every time I step before that microphone, I know that this person might say something that's absolutely insane or something completely impactful to somebody in the world. That's what I love. That you can never tell what's gonna happen next. It's the chaos. Okay, the biggest obstacle with having a podcast is that you don't know your audience. You do not know who your audience is. I have 15,000 subscribers on TikTok. I have 500 followers on Instagram, and right now there's 57 people on YouTube. On the podcast, there's 2,000 people right now. I don't know who is who, and nobody talks to me. So the biggest issue with podcasting is I have people who consistently support me, but I don't know their names. I don't know where you're from. I know what region you're from. I know what country you're from. I know what city you're from. But the disconnect between me and my audience, it hurts a lot. Because every other creator can look through their comments and say, they can see, oh wow, I did this really good. I can do this. Or some creators get canceled and they know, like, let me not ever do that again. Some episodes get a lot of love and some episodes don't get any love at all. You never know why. You don't know what sticks and what don't, you know? There's some episodes that gets a lot of love that I personally don't care for. And there's some episodes that I put my heart and soul into, and then they flop hard. And learning to have consistency even when the support isn't there, learning consistency even though the numbers speak otherwise, that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing. My biggest influences, they are Ryan Sickler of the Honeydew Podcast. His motto of his podcast is highlighting the lowlights of life and sharing the stories behind the storytellers. And there are so many comedians out there, there's so many people out there who spend their entire lives bringing joy to the world, and we know so little about the struggles they go through. So big props to Ryan Sickler. Duncan Trussell Family Hour. Duncan Trussell is amazing. If you ever seen The Midnight Gospel on YouTube, Netflix, Midnight Gospel on Netflix, incredible. The fact that someone as humble as he is can go in front of people who have so much more knowledge than him, and he still has the confidence to ask them questions without, the fact that he can go to in front of these people who are experts in their fields without bashfulness and humility to ask them very basic questions, and they give him answers that go surpass what he asked, gives me so much hope. And that's why I can go in front of anybody and say, hey, why do you do this instead of this? And I don't have to feel like, am I stupid for asking this question? I have a different level of confidence by listening and watching him. I get influence from everything, literally everything. Like right now, that mockingbird over there is giving me a lot of hope right now. Being in nature and seeing how plants thrive despite the chaos that's going on in the world. Hurricane comes through, knocks everything down, and Florida goes right back to normal right afterwards. Everything gives me influence. Everything gives me inspiration. Every little thing in the world makes me sit down and wonder, what does that mean for me? The fact that a sunflower can go from seed to 7 feet tall in 4 months. What does that mean for me? How can I take that into my life? So first, I'm gonna tell you the truth first. Everybody has a podcast. And just because you have a podcast does not mean you're gonna be successful. True. Number 2, most podcasts do not last past the first 20 episodes. If you are not committed and you're not willing to work hard, do not start a podcast. You're gonna waste your time, money, and energy. You're gonna be left feeling burned out. You are going to waste money that you could use on something else. And you are gonna wonder, why did I do this? Number 3, podcasting is like charity work. You are gonna put a lot in and you are not gonna get a lot out until a long time afterwards. Let me tell you the good news about podcasting. You will meet a lot of new people. Praise and adoration is gonna come to you from every which way. Everywhere you look, there is gonna be somebody somewhere push you to go forward. Like I said before, there's thousands of podcasts out there, but most of them are dead. If you look at all the podcasts, so think of a podcast name that you want. Let's say you wanted to call it Treetops Podcast. There's probably 7 with that exact same name. 4 of them are probably dead right now. They probably posted 2 episodes and called it a night. When it comes to podcasting, the only thing that separates you from every other podcast is you. What you bring to the table, who you are, and what you bring out of the people who are on your show. That's the only difference. I have a mental health podcast. There are thousands of mental health podcasts, but none are like mine because I am the host. So if you want to start a podcast, make sure you're all in it, balls to the wall. Make sure that you come with humility in your heart and you're ready to bust your ass. Because if you're not, don't waste your time or your money. Period. One thing I can tell everybody, quality is everything. If you think, I'm just gonna buy this cheap ass microphone, you waste your time. Because sooner or later, you're gonna have to buy a new microphone. Whatever you think you should do, whatever your first mind tells you to do with your podcast, when it comes to quality, do it. If you don't have the money right now, chill out for a little bit. Whatever you need to do it. Because I would always say, I would rather sacrifice my money than sacrifice my quality. So I'm kind of delusional in that case, but baby, it ain't failed me yet. Oh, your podcast is gonna suck. It's gonna be trash, but people are still gonna love it. It's gonna be terrible. You gonna listen to the first episode, you're gonna be like, damn, this is awful. But people are going to love it. Every time you feel like this shit is garbage, it is. But people are still going to love it because you made it. And whatever you make and whatever you put your hand to, people are gonna love it because it has you written all over it. You think it's shit because it's coming from you. To all my peacekeepers, I wanna say thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting my guests. Thank you for being who you are. You don't understand that one listen, that 15 minutes of listening, that 20 minutes of listening, because you took time out of your day to spend with me and my people, it means the world to me. That one subscribe, that follow, that like, that flower emoji y'all put under my TikTok post, that means the world to me because it affirms me every single day that I am changing the world, one soul at a time. Financially, I am not where I should be, but because of you, I am moving along. So from me to all the peacekeepers out there, and from Kathy, because without Cappy, y'all wouldn't know who the fuck I was. From me and everybody that helps with the Peace of One podcast, I want to say thank you. Peace and blessings to all of you, and it's always love in my heart for y'all. If you ever want to talk to me, please talk to me, baby. Like, it's getting bad at this point, baby. I be so lonely. I be so lonely in the middle of the night. I be like, hopefully just one of the peacekeepers just talk to me.
Aww.
Maybe they would DM me and be like, hi, but y'all don't ever talk to me. It may sound desperate, but I do want to talk to y'all sometimes, like once or twice a month. So my only request is that y'all please talk to me. It gets real lonely in podcast world. It really do. But that's all I want to say. Thank you for supporting me. Peace and blessings.